Are you new to buying inventory for your boutique business? If so, stay tuned. I'm gonna tell you some tips, tricks, and really important things that you need to know so that you don't make mistakes on your first couple of buys. If we haven't met yet, hi, I'm Emily Benson. Welcome back to my channel. I am a mindset coach and boutique consultant for boutique owners just like you. Whether you're looking to make $500 a month or $500,000 a month, you're in the right place. Boutiques are growing very quickly right now, and I am helping them grow in a way that is not only sustainable, but allows you to have a lot of fun. Most likely you're new and you're watching this video, and that's awesome because we need more people like you out there. We need more boutiques to open because we need more perspectives. We need your point of view. So I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the opportunities and some of the disadvantages of working with wholesalers and just in general working with the boutique industry from a wholesale perspective, buying wholesale and selling retail. First and foremost, no, you cannot buy samples. The way that the wholesale piece of the industry works, so if you're a boutique owner, you are gonna sell at retail, you need to get your reseller's permit or your tax ID in your state so that your state knows that you're collecting sales tax. That's really important because when you go to buy from wholesalers, like people on Fashion Go or LA Showroom, or Fair, all these places. And if you need a video about that, we'll put a link up here to my video about where to actually find wholesalers. But before you even head over there, you're going to really need that ID because that's the indicator to a wholesale vendor to know that you are allowed to buy wholesale because you're gonna sell it to the general public, collect sales tax on it. You just really need that. So know that when you're going there, you need that. With wholesalers, there is no such thing as buying a sample. You can't just buy 1 unit or 2 units of an item. This is why I always say you should go to market or try to go to LA or New York or wherever these people are so you can see samples and you can see what's going on. Because if you're just communicating online, most likely you're not gonna be able to actually see the styles until you've bought the entire pack. If you are really good at understanding what fabrics and materials and cuts and photography is, you might be fine buying online. If you're not, you're new to fashion, you're new to apparel industry, you may want to go to a market or a show. So now when you're on a wholesale website or you're looking at a wholesaler's line sheet, what you're actually gonna see is the wholesale cost per unit. So if an item is $10, that means it's $10 per unit. Now you're going to have to go and buy 6 units at least. Generally it's 6, that's pretty much industry standard, 6 units. So if something costs $10, you're gonna buy 6 pieces, so your total order will be $60. Now that doesn't include shipping, that doesn't include tax, that doesn't include handling, but that's okay. You are going to get great prices on styles that you didn't even realize you could get such low prices on. The caveat is, obviously, that's where you make your money. So you're gonna go and turn around and charge retail, and that will be your profit, and you'll turn around and buy more. So just know when you're buying, the price that you see is per piece, and that you most likely will have to buy 6 units of that. Now, let's talk about how that 6 is broken down. Generally, the 6 is broken down with 2 smalls, 2 mediums, and 2 large units. If you wanna buy plus size, which is extra large, 2XL, 3XL, or extra large, 1XL, 2XL, 3XL, depending on how the sizes are, and you're gonna have to talk to each vendor about that because those are sold as a separate pack. So the 222 is what we call a pack. So you need to buy a pack, and then the plus size is a different pack. Either you're buying 6 units or you're buying 12 if you're buying a full size run, or you're just buying 6 of plus. You don't have to buy the whole run generally. Now, that is what is typical. There are vendors who have things called open packs, meaning that you can buy however many you want of whatever size you want. You just have to hit some kind of like total minimum. There are also vendors who have different size breaks and or carry different sizes. So this is gonna be very confusing because again, there's no industry standard. So you're gonna have to ask that vendor, what are their packs? What are their minimums? How are their packs broken down by size? Because you might find a vendor that sells small to extra large in a pack. And that vendor might even do 1 small, 2 mediums, 2 larges, and 1 extra large. There's no standard. So you just kind of have to go with what you get. It's not ideal, but as I teach in so many of my other videos, this is why it's really important for you to make sure that you get that good markup. Because if you can get the good markup, then if you're left with a small or you're left with a large, you have room to mark that down and not lose money. Now let's talk minimums, because someone on another video had a little bit of confused moment around this. When you go to buy from a vendor, they're gonna tell you what their minimum order is. That minimum order is for an order. That's not for a style, that's not for a color. That's like, if you're gonna go to them and you're gonna buy 2 shirts, 3 scrunchies, and 2 pairs of leggings, that's an entire order. It doesn't matter how you break it out by color. Sometimes it doesn't matter how you break it out by size, but basically they just don't want to ship to you unless you're gonna buy a good amount. Generally minimum orders around $100. It's really easy to spend. That's like a style or 2 or 3. You should get there pretty easily. Just know that it's by vendor, it's not by style. A few more tips on sizing. But before we get into that, what questions do you have about buying inventory from wholesalers? Pop those questions below. And if you're loving this video, if you're finding these tips helpful and useful, hit that like button and please subscribe to my channel. I love you. And if this is helping you, subscribing really helps me. All right, a few notes about sizes. These are things that I find newbies get super tricked up on. So there are different categories within women's apparel and men's apparel. Now, kids are gonna be like kids, and you'll understand those because it'll be like, you know, baby, infant, toddler. Now, if you're going in and you're buying women's or men's, you wanna make sure that you're buying the right size template. There's a difference between juniors, Missy, contemporary, and men's. I know that's confusing. You'll know it's juniors because it's sized differently. It's sized 3, 5, 7, 9. It's sized in odd numbers. Typically, if you're buying something for Missy or contemporary, that tends to be more 2, 4, 6, 8 or small, medium, large. Now, the important thing to know about this is that juniors is cut for a junior size person. So think of you maybe when you were 14, you didn't really have hips, you didn't really fill out your shirt. It was a different body shape. Now, I tend to suggest that if you want to go after a petite market, that might be something you look at, is looking at the junior sizing. Buy a pack, see how it fits on you if you're petite. Now, if you're trying to sell to a woman who has had kids, who has hips, who definitely has seen their body change over time, they're maybe in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, that's where you're gonna wanna buy Missy or contemporary, because those are gonna be cut for an adult woman. The sizes will be appropriately scaled. If you buy juniors, you might get a little bit of a crop top, or you might get a little bit of a tighter arm, just little differences that normally you wouldn't notice, but when customers try them on, they'll go, ooh, these are really small, or you'll see like, oh, this top is really tight. It's junior sizing. When you're on people's websites or when you're working with a vendor, ask them about their sizing. Are they using junior sizing? Are they using a contemporary fit? And it's just how the size break works. If you are looking for things like tall sizes or plus sizes, you're going to have to look kind of hard. Plus size is getting way easier to find, but if you're looking for tall or kind of anything out of the ordinary like that, men's does have like big and tall, you'll be able to find that. Women's tall doesn't really exist. I know, I'm 6'1", not fun. I do think that contemporary is cut a little bit longer, and you can always, especially if you're talking pants, denim, things like that, you can always call the vendor and say, what's your average inseam length, and try to make it work for that. Hopefully this has given you a really, really good rundown of what to look for as you're buying merchandise wholesale. If you have more questions, if you need advice on vendors, I really want to suggest that you join my free Facebook group. You can do that by clicking this link right here. It's emilyfbgroup.com. It'll take you right there over to Facebook. It's free. Just come over, tell us that you found us on YouTube. We have so many great free resources in there, including lots of tips and tricks on vendors, hard to find things. So come join us in that group. It's such a positive space, no drama. I can't wait to see you there. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next Tuesday.